For our community. As many of y'all may be aware, over the last 2 years, we have developed a really strong partnership with the Development Authority and handle some of the day-to-day work for economic development for our community. And one thing that the Development Authority Board, chamber boards have all recognized is that we are going in one direction, and we all believe certainly that it's the best direction. But we've never had a plan. And y'all know when you don't have a plan, it's hard to really benchmark your achievements or where you need to push more. And so we really came up with the idea that there should be a plan and worked through the Appalachian Regional Commission to receive a grant. And overall, it's a $100,000 plan, which is great. But it will be the first economic development strategic plan for our community ever. So we are very excited about that, and our speaker today is Lynn Patterson, who is leading the team that will be developing this plan along with us. Lynn is an accomplished urban planning and economic development professional. She loves places. I will tell you this, in my limited time I've spent with her so far, you can tell she really wants to know the history, the culture, what's important to the community, what we want to be, but also maybe what we don't want to be. And not everyone approaches planning that way, and that's one thing we absolutely love about Lynn. She's a co-founding partner for Mango Tree Foundation, which is a nonprofit organization that works to empower women in sustainable development endeavors worldwide. And she also brings the perspective of a private developer, public official, and researcher into every project in place. Through her extensive experience, she really can see all sides, which is very beneficial as we're creating a plan to really understand all the different facets, whether you're a county official, a city official, or a private business, making sure we are really meeting the needs of all groups. She founded the 3 Points Planning to help guide communities through economic development and planning to celebrate their histories, understand their present people, natural, social, economic, and built environment, and look forward to the future. We really look forward to working on this process. We want it to be a very transparent process that really engages our community, particularly our business community, but our community as a whole, about who we want to be when we grow up. We all know that communities are doing one of two things. You are either growing or dying. I came here from a community that was dying, and truly, to be honest, you could ask them, they're not offended by it, they know it. And I would tell you, it's such a joy to work in a community where people want to live here, people want to build a business here, which is a great thing, but we want to make sure that we really have a plan for how to engage that process and make sure we're all on the same page. She's also leading the group that will be, might be strong words, but updating our 400 corridor guidelines. You'll know that if you have a business on 400, when you built or have done changes, you have to follow a certain set of codes. Those were put in 20 years ago, and when they were put in, they were honestly awesome. There weren't other rural communities that did that. But of course, technology and planning have really changed over 20 years, so it's time for an update. So she'll also be leading that process. So I'm thrilled to introduce Lynn Patterson to y'all.
Well, thank you. I always feel a little funny with the microphone. On the side, because I don't have one. I teach at Georgia Tech, so I'm just used to projecting. So it's a little awkward with the microphone. Thank you for bearing with me. I'm delighted to be here, and I'm delighted to be here on behalf of myself, Thomas and Hutton. I don't know if you're familiar with Thomas and Hutton Engineering. We partnered together before on some projects, and Next Site, they do retail analysis. And we've been working actually in Dawson and are engaged in this effort as well, because we really feel like good planning is comprehensive planning. We really take a holistic approach to it. I'm going to give you a little bit of our philosophy because I'm so excited to be talking to you, the business community. You are essential to the economic development spine and the way that we're going to move forward. So thank you very much. I really appreciate the opportunity. Just a word about planning. So I do love places. I've traveled all over the world, and I found myself back in Georgia spending some time. I love places because they're unique, and it takes the entire community to have a vision to make that unique. I could sit at my desk and I could give you a cookie cutter plan over and over again. It would probably work about 80% of the time. That's not what we want. We want to hear your vision, the community's vision, and take that and pair that with our expertise, what we know works different places, what we know is, at least compatible with the direction that you're going, and help to shape that. So you have a community that is distinctly Dawson County, that is distinctly you, that you can be proud of, that creates a sense of place. So we're really excited. And we do not want this plan to sit on the shelf. So I will be enlisting, and I promise you'll be tired of hearing from me within the next 6 months, because I'm enlisting you all to be the ambassadors for this plan. It cannot happen alone with the chamber, with Betsy, economic development, or just the county staff, or just even the city staff. It takes an entire group to make this come to fruition. You're all ambassadors. If somebody new is coming here, looking at a place, I've worked in site selection for 3 years. We would go into the community very quietly and listen to what the businesses have to say. If they don't have a good feeling about what's going on, or they don't have a good experience, we're not going to bring them fun with it, right? And the same thing goes with at the government level. We're always listening. They're always trying to find out. Again, that also holds true for expansions. Expansions are incredible opportunities. You're already here, you're already established, whatever we can do, and part of the plan is looking at how do we support the existing businesses, not just focus on what we can bring in. So we're really getting excited to be here. All right, so let me, what's that? Oh, thank you. So why are we doing a plan? I think Christy mentioned sort of exciting. It's the first plan you've ever had. There are some real reasons to have a plan. It's not just an exercise in planning. But you've got some development pressures. You've got Luncheon County, you've got Forsyth County. Things are going to happen here, and you want to have a handle on how that does. You want to have a say in that. So it's really being able to not be reactive, but proactive in what you're trying to accomplish. It'll be the guiding document for the county, for the economic development staff, for all of you to know. And when you've got you've got property owners, that creates consistency and certainty. You know what it is. That's why we do really good zoning, is so that you know what's going to occur in the area, and nobody's surprised that it doesn't undercut anybody else. That's important. We establish baseline conditions. As you mentioned, it helps us see, are you doing well? Are you moving in the direction? Are you taking a step back? How do you tweak it? The plan is also not a static plan. It's a dynamic plan. So we put it in place, and we're constantly checking. We're checking in. You may have to tweak something. I always talk about the scooter phenomenon. I live in Atlanta, and there's scooters everywhere on every sidewalk, right? Nobody saw that coming 2 years ago. Nobody knew that we were going to have to react to that. Technology changes, markets change. We have to be able to adapt to it, so that's going to be really important. We'll be developing priority areas. We don't want to be really early with this. It's a beautiful county. We really want to identify and focus growth, whether it's industrial growth into certain areas, or commercial growth, retail growth, residential growth. We really want to have a really good plan and approach to how we put those together from a compatible land use perspective. So we'll be looking at that. And then, of course, we need to have actionable items. What are you going to do to make that happen? I think the most important part is when we go for grant and funding support, that you have a plan that you can point to. It's not somebody's, wish, pie in the sky wish. There's been research, it's been thought out, it's been vetted with the community. This is the direction we want to go in, and there are federal, state, regional grants to be had for that. So I think this planning process is super important. I'm really, really glad that you're engaging in it. As I mentioned, we've got a couple focus areas. Those will be industrial. So where we're going to put some industrial, we'll talk about the conversation I had last week with the Development Authority Board, and sort of what the assets are, what the liabilities are, what the weaknesses are in the community. But industrial, we need to diversify the economy. We've got a very, very strong retail base, which is fantastic, especially given population. So it creates a lot of opportunity, but we need to think about diversifying that economy, creating some jobs for folks to be able to stay, back and stay, good wage jobs that will keep up with housing prices and land prices and overall quality of life. Commercial, we talked about it the other day, there's sort of dark commercial buildings here. You've got those development pressures again coming from the south and from the north. How do you capture that? There's some real opportunity with what's going on regionally to be able to start to bring in those different kinds of industries and different kinds of jobs that will support the existing business you already have. And residential housing, it's a really, really a key problem that happens everywhere. There's a housing crunch no matter where you go. I work all over Georgia, mostly in rural Georgia. I work in Florida, and everybody is talking about the housing issue. We need to make sure we have housing that the workforce can live in and be in the community, not spend all day commuting and having all of the issues that come along, the expenses and the stress that come along with commuting. So making sure we've got the workforce that's here, they can afford to live here. And then there is no incentives policy at the moment, but we're working on talking about that. Is that something to pursue? If so, what does that look like? I just finished an incentives policy for DeKalb County. Believe it or not, they don't have their act together when it comes to incentives, so we're working with them. Don't tell me that. But they do now. They do now. They were wise enough to figure out with all the competition, how do you maintain sort of the competitive edge, but not give away the store? You don't need to give away the store for a reason. So we're going to create a really nice, clear policy that's, again, transparent, that everybody can understand, that we can work from. We're also looking at public-private partnership opportunities. What's out there where we can engage? As I said, it's sort of a community effort and development is. How do we engage everybody in that? How do we get the county and the city to participate in some really positive development for the community? And then finally, the most important part, how do you do it? So it's great to talk about these, put all these numbers and the ideas together. As I said, we'll have some actionable items and implementation plan that we can go back and look very clear that has responsibilities and that is feasible. You know, there's nothing worse than a plan that gets put on the shelf because nobody knows where to start. So this process where we are right now, my lecture this morning was on public engagement with my students, and I told them I was coming here, so please be good so I can report back. And then on Tuesday, how phenomenally engaged you were. It is part of the overall process. I have been up to Dawson County dozens of times in my 20 years that I've lived here, but I don't spend a lot of time here. I don't know what's going on. We spent 2 hours with the Development Authority Board sort of trying to understand what the assets here and what were some of the liabilities. Really, we want to know about Dawson County. I can look up all the numbers in the world. I've got all sorts of data. But if I don't know who you are, what you stand for, and what you really want to be, it's really hard to write a good plan. It's just going to be the plan that I think should come. So this is why we're having these initial conversations, and then as the plan progresses, we'll be sort of checking in and saying, okay, here's some potential, here's some opportunities when it comes. We've heard what you want to be, we're looking at the data, sort of ground truthing it all, and figuring out what the best plan of action is. So that's very, very important to us, and that's why we're having these initial conversations. So the assets and liabilities, where right now, what do you have? What do you have that we can build upon? Don't need to start over. We've got a phenomenal foundation, and now we're just trying to see how we best leverage it. The opportunities and concerns is the piece that I want to talk. This is not going to be me yammering at you all afternoon for the next 20 minutes. But I really want to get some feedback from you about your business. You're the business leaders here. What are the opportunities that you see? I know I've got a pretty good list, and we'll walk through it of the assets and what some of the weaknesses or liabilities are, but I want to know what you see. What are the things that keep you up at night as a business leader in here? Is it workforce? But here's an opportunity. I had a project in another community in rural Georgia, and I came and I did some workforce analysis for them and gave them some ideas, some programming ideas. We had a conversation with the business leaders, and one of the business leaders who had not been engaged had said, I want in. I just saw the email from the other day, all in capital letters. I want in on this program because this is going to help me. So you all are really integral in helping us identify and then helping us be able to put the programs together. So that's what I want to talk with you about. I'm not going to make you write a vision statement. We talked about it the other day. That's my job. You tell me what you want, and I will help the community write a vision and put it into words that we can then take and move forward. So I'm not going to create it, but I'm going to take the information that you all can present to me. And then we're going, and then we're working hard with all the data to be able to come up, like I said, with sort of where we're going, what policies and programs we need. You have 2 sheets of paper. I'm going to say this now, so I'm going to forget. If you have questions, please stop me and ask me along the way. There are 2 sheets of paper on your table. I'm going to beg you to fill those out. It's not really pretty on my bag, so don't make me do too much. But I really would like, we want your feedback about this. And the written feedback is better because obviously I'm here and not able to scramble and take notes on this. So the better, and you may not have stuff, you may not be able to say anything. We don't have time with this larger crowd to really get in depth with everybody. But if you can all just take a couple minutes to jot down, what are your main concerns? What do you think is something that's been overlooked or it's an opportunity? I always wanted to start an apprenticeship program, or I'd love to see us, leverage this piece of property down the street that really we can do a nice mixed use. I don't know, you have great visions, I'm sure. Please take a moment and put those down. Yes. And if you can, you don't have to come up with a beautiful vision statement. Write some words down that you want us to consider as you put your vision, as we're looking at what the vision is. The second page is a retail survey. We've got lots of data and the folks that are coming here, where they're coming, what are they doing, what kinds of things. We're trying to find out what's missing. What's the missing piece? So if you have some either types of retail that you'd like to see or specific stores, if you don't mind putting them in the appropriate category, it helps our data collection a little bit. But if there's something, we've always wanted to see, Cracker, we've always wanted to have a Cracker Barrel here. Right down Cracker Barrel. Okay, we always wanted to have it all, whatever you want. And so if you'll take that and just hand them to us before you leave, I really would appreciate my content. If you want to take more time with it and email it to me, you can see at the bottom is my contact information as well. Or you can drop it off in the chamber. Absolutely. Lots of ways to get it back. Okay. Let me just walk through. I want this to be a litmus test. So these are the assets that the categories I took. How many pages did we have, Tony? About 12 pages of written. How many posters on the wall did we have? 12 pages, maybe?
I think that's low. I think
it might have been.
We killed a lot of trees then.
We killed a lot of really, really big trees. I took all of the information. Everybody was just shouting out, what are the assets, what are the assets? And I put them into, and we'll make this available for you as well. Some general categories. And we can look through what those are because I want you to think about this. This is just a few minutes to stimulate your minds about what some opportunities may be. But certainly, and these are in no particular order. It really was just going through. Attractions. What do you have that's bringing people up here? What are your tourism attractions, whether it's retail or whatever, you have that, right? Your infrastructure. There are pieces of infrastructure that are a definite asset to this community that we can build on. The regional activities. That's the development activities. What is going on regionally? What's going on with the hospital that can create some opportunity for you here? You don't have the bedded facility, but you can. We operate in regional economies. I don't know how many of you live in Dawson County and work here, or how many have family members that live in Dawson County and work elsewhere, right? So we have to think about this regionally. How are we going to leverage what's going on regionally? Did a project on the northeast side of Banks County, and I don't know if you've been up there lately, but Jackson County's on fire, right? They've got thousands of jobs coming in. It's a great opportunity for banks to be able, they may not get the big industry, and maybe that's okay. Maybe they don't want all of that industry there, but they can certainly take advantage of all of the ancillary businesses that help to support it. Sense of community. There's a tremendous amount of pride that I got from the meeting last week about this community and how much they care about the people that are in the community. The natural environment, of course, is extraordinarily beautiful here. We want to preserve that. We don't want it to become cookie cutter. We really want to identify and leverage the aesthetics of the area. And the opportunities that the natural environment has. Your education system, lots of compliments on the education system. The business climate, easy to work with. I hope that's true. Did they lie to me? Are we thumbs up on easy to work with? Okay, numbers on yes. All right, wait a minute. We'll have to talk about that one. And then quality of life, the overall assessment. The liabilities that you don't have a diversified economy. You are very heavily reliant upon retail. Everybody understands that. And that's something we have to really think about. Economic development planning up until to really think about it cohesively. Like as Christy said, I'm involved with the overlay district for State Route 53 as well as the 400 corridor. You cannot have a good plan without good tools to help implement it. So if you've got the best laid plans, but then it's impossible to satisfy those corridor requirements, that's not going to help. And vice versa, right? If I've got this beautiful aesthetic that I want to put through this overlay district for aesthetics and layouts and site design, I don't have anybody to put in there, and that's a waste of effort too. So we're really excited that that we've got this nice marriage going on at the moment. It's fabulous. Infrastructure, there are some pieces of infrastructure that are lacking, but that's great. We've identified them, we can look at them. Some land use, you'll see that one was a lot. There are a lot of concerns about land use, the location, amenities, regional pressures, all of that development is positive and it's negative. Labor with the workforce, how the workforce is doing, housing, some issues with government, and a little bit about culture, NIMBYism and the caves. You know NIMBY, right? Not in my backyard, and caves, citizens against virtually everything. We have to work through those. So, I just want you to kind of take a peek at these. These were the main things that that they identified in this very long session, but it was rapid fire. It might be a little hard for you to see. I'm sorry, it kind of got dark at the bottom. But you've got great bones, if you will, when it comes to infrastructure. You've got 400, you've got fiber, which a lot of communities do not have, and it's crippling. You've got a private airport, you've got water and sewer, you've got DOT that's got their eyes up here, and everything else is going on. So it's pretty exciting. The inland port that's going down the street, if you will, in Gainesville, right? That has been a huge economic generator in Murray County. I was up there, I did a project up there. They've been doing really well because of the inland port. It stimulated a lot of development. And then I was up in Tennessee meeting with them on Monday because they're an adjacent community and they're seeing some benefit from the inland port. So that's great. How do we leverage the health systems and the regional hospital? Again, I mentioned the unified focus, the Rotary. It's just a culture of involvement and giving, which is not every community. And that's something that we can identify how to leverage that. I don't think any of this is anything that needs explaining. Your business climate, ease of getting to somebody, low property taxes, low congestion, I guess unless you're going south in the morning. Is it okay? Not too bad? Not yet? Not too bad yet. I live in Atlanta. So, parks and recreation, you've got all of these. It's very safe here, which is something that people look for. Again, I've talked through all these things, so I don't really want to spend a lot of time on them. I really want this to be interactive. But I thought it was kind of interesting. On one hand, when it comes to the infrastructure, those are options that we can kind of, rail's not going to happen. So it's not, sorry. But the location and amenities, I thought was really interesting what they brought up, and maybe as the business community, maybe have something to say about it. You got two state highways that converge in Dawson. What does that do? What are the limitations? What are the concerns that creates when you have that? The inability to maybe do some things that you want to do. And how do we get around that? So that's something I'd like to hear more about. There's no downtown. It's not when they say on this side, right? They were talking about we are over the chamber. So that was there's not really something on that side of 400. No center. What are people coming for? The comment was made, well, we've come to walk around the Publix. We come to Publix and there's some restaurants. That's not really a center. It's great retail, but that's not some place that, hey, let's go down to the shopping center so we can walk around. We don't do that anymore. So really think about creating a sense of place when you do that. Green space, and parks, again. No conference center, no bedded hospital, and lack of signage. That is the truth. I drove up today and I'm like, oh, there's the Dawson County Center. And the green signage should come up 400. We need to have a little something that's a little more substantial. So we'll talk about that. Again, identifying and playing both with the corridor and the signage as part of this, and how do we identify, how do we start to create the aesthetics that say, you're here? And not necessarily a gateway, it's the best comment of all. Somebody said, we don't want to be a gateway somewhere else, we want to be a destination. So you are a gateway, but you're a reason to stop and stay. And go look. This was the one that I thought was the most interesting. There's a lot of issues about land use, one way or the other. And so there are some real opportunities. Sorry, there we go. There's some real opportunities with some specific sites about what we might be able to do there. I can't do anything about land costs, but if we can think about how to have higher and better use of land, then you can start to justify that, right? Interparcel connectivity, lack of industrial sites is a concern. In order to be able to bring those folks in, you want to have some compatible land usage. And then even one of the I thought was an interesting comment, the reuse of industrial, that things are being turned over to non-industrial usage, right? So there's a warehouse that we turned into the church, is that right? Two of them. That's taking what could be very, valuable zone for industrial space and taking that out of the mix. You want to be able to put that in. So how do we find a home for those churches maybe not in that area? So this is a problem. The drug, what's going on in terms of drug. It's not just you. It's every single community I talk to. So I mean, now if you want a USDA grant, you have to put somehow how you're addressing the opioid crisis. So that's something to think about in terms of workforce and how are you setting yourself apart, how are you sort of securing and bringing out the community so that you really start to think about. So that's a nice opportunity for some partnerships with health. So it's not just about retail and industrial and commercial. It's starting to think about what are the partnerships we have on the side. Not enough mid-management labor. We've got a generational poverty issue, and then one of the things, I guess that's the wrong place, sorry, the income and revenue generators in unincorporated PCMC, or the county. So there's some issues to talk about there. Housing is always a problem. We need some workforce housing, as I mentioned. Senior living, trying to gauge what's happening with the population. Is that something we should be looking at? Because that's a whole sector that can really generates jobs, it generates stability, intergenerational communities. You've got folks here, you don't want to lose them, you don't want them going somewhere else. You want to be able for them to age in place, right? Age in the same community. So, and then code enforcement was a concern. It's always a concern. It's not unique to your community. And then the fact that sort of we talked about, I don't know if we thought it was a liability or an asset in the village. An asset. I think we had a question mark about that. All right. So, blah. That's on me. But I bring that up because I want you to hear the kinds of things that are happening. Now, I want to know from you all, if you could tell me, what are some of out of the things I just rolled right through, what are some of the opportunities that you see, and what are some of the liabilities? Concern. Do you have let's start with labor. Do you have concern with labor in any of your businesses? Raise your hand. Anybody have an issue with labor? What? Okay. So my takeaway is great if workforce would be accepted. We can talk about what's the issue with labor. Right? What is it? Is it not enough workers? Is it not enough jobs? We have a very low unemployment rate, which is good and bad. Right? It's hard to find people. Housing. Anybody want to talk about housing? How far are your employees? Now local. No way.
I feel like especially married, that there could be more options and do a compare apartments, but something that just in between time of personally.
Okay.
I second that. My daughter's 20 and she's out working on her own, living with us, and a one-bedroom apartment's $1,100 a month. It just makes no sense. And it would be nice to have something a little more affordable. She's just going to live with us and save up and buy a place. But
your rents are extraordinarily like astronomically high for the community, especially different regions, right? So being able to live. Anybody else?
Well, the thing is, you've got to be careful when you put a definition on affordable housing. You have to be careful there because, as I said earlier, a box was $210,000. Well, guess what? From an economic standpoint, how is that economist for the economy? That is an issue, and the issue is if you're building housing for your workforce, it's it's a slippery slope as to the cost analysis, and how do we get to that point? So it begins to be a bigger issue than just affordable housing because of so many other things.
One of the things I think is so overlooked when we talk about housing costs is transportation costs. So if you have to live 30 minutes from your job, now you're spending, gas is super cheap right now, I'm not sure what's going on. But you're paying for gas, you're paying for insurance, you're paying for a car, if you even have one, right? Or if something happens to your car. So one of the pieces of analysis that we look at is the housing and transportation cost index that says your rent is this, or your mortgage is this, and your cost for transportation is this. You don't want to burden your citizens on having to spend a ton of money. That's why we want to create jobs here, right? So people can live and work in the community, as well as making sure that there's good quality housing available to people. And so that's why we talk about it in terms of workforce. We're trying to make sure that people who live in the county have the option, or who work in the county have the option to live in the county. And then we have the multiplier effect if you work in the county, all the things that you start to take. So I think it's a very complicated process.
And this is not housing, but it's for the businesses that have to have a place of business. When my husband and I, a couple years ago, we bought a business. It took us forever to find a place to lease, to put our business. We either could not afford it, right, and there's not a lot of space available anymore. So I see that as an issue for people that are just starting out, needing to find a place. It's crazy what we pay for the building that we have right now.
Okay, so there's really not enough supply, I'm hearing, not enough supply for small businesses.
No.
Incubators.
No.
Something I said is shared office space. There's nothing up there. The closest is, I want to say like exit 13, almost in Alpharetta, or whatever, in the south side. You know, I don't know, my business, I don't necessarily need an office building 5 days a week, but I could maybe 2 days a week. But having that shared space would cut costs for me and provide a storefront.
Sure.
So your communities that you go into to see affordable housing or we consider affordable housing, how do they achieve that? Because you start looking now at what land costs are and what construction costs are and what material runs. I don't know how to build an affordable apartment. It's a doors number, what's my cost per door? And everything's elevated. So how much smaller you can build one. And so I would think the communities that have affordable housing probably with some revitalization. They take an older building, but they take up the foreclosure, achieve it, and get there. And I can see that they have a lot of that already. So everything we do is going to be some sort of new construction. To do that, does help cost our averages.
The construction cost of the salary,
Yes.
not even land cost.
So it's a potential want to. I mean, I think everybody wants to. How?
So there's really good opportunities for, in this case, public-private partnerships. There are ways in which the community deems this important. And I want to be really careful because affordable housing often gets conflated with low-income housing. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about housing for your workforce. We're trying to find jobs for everybody so we won't have unemployment, right? That everybody has a job, and those who have a job have the ability to have some place to live. Because even as we talked about in the school system, the number of students who are deemed incredible, the number of students in the Dawson County School District who are couch surfing, living, I mean, they are deep homeless, and it's incredible. So there are opportunities for public-private partnerships where, if the Development Authority, for example, felt that this was a priority, they can, just like they would with an industrial project, they can help facilitate. They can do it through purchase of land, they can do it through tax abatements, there's a lot of ways. There are low-income housing tax credits. There are organizations to partner with that will work on lease to purchase, so you can get some folks that maybe have some credit issues, and it just depends on what you're trying to accomplish. It does not address the construction cost. That isn't the reality of work. So we have to think about it in other ways. We're building products a little bit differently. You know, we're seeing many more attached housing units than we have ever seen before. So it was always single-family house with like recognizes what we wanted. People don't want that anymore. They really don't. I don't know what you said. Your daughter's going to come live at home with you, right? So she's going to come back.
Well, she hasn't left.
She hasn't left.
No, it's fine. I mean, I'll keep her as long as I need to. I'd rather do that than have her come back.
Even that, what they're looking for, millennials, we always talk about the millennials, but it's true, what they're looking for is a different housing style, more attached. Even in senior living, right? We have to think about what's affordable for seniors. So I think there are programs that we can look into that is deemed as a priority for the community. It doesn't have to be, multifamily doesn't have to be a dirty word, actually. It actually can be something that's really vibrant and creates and helps with the mix. Does anyone really want to do that? Just saying, don't think of it always as a dirty word. But there are different kinds of products that and again, partnerships. Folks are looking, I mean, they're trying to get out of the very, very expensive markets that are in town. And if they find that there's a demand, some other communities will come up here. Okay, other concerns. What are your concerns? You're the business owners, you're the business leaders here. What's going on in the community? We need to know about that. I don't know about it, it's not going to show up in us. It's all rosy, we're good? I don't need to be here? No, I gotta go. You need to be here. I need to be here. Talk to me about what do you see? What's one of the issues that you see?
Well, I'm a realtor, so you're
Okay.
talking about a little bit.
Okay, there it is. We need some help.
Nothing big enough.
But we're talking, we need some housing and we need some commercial space. Oh, sorry, yes.
Qualified help,
Qualified help. What's the
even unqualified help.
Trainable help.
Well, yeah, that, and it's not just that they're available, more so that there's a desire for them that they want to work.
Let me guess.
You get a lot of wasted time with some of the employees that we get.
I hear, this is what I hear all the time. They didn't show up for the interview. They showed up for the interview, they didn't show up for the drug test. They showed up for the interview, they passed, didn't pass the drug test. They showed up for the interview, they passed the drug test, they came late the first day. They were there for a week, they got their first paycheck and they were gone, right? That's sort of that work ethic. And so, again, it's not new and we're really looking
I
at.
just don't know if the pool's not big enough, or if they're just, not prepared ethically to come out of high school and want to work. I don't know what it is. Can't get your finger on it.
It's not just young people. You're right, it's not just young people. So,
I need young people.
we'll find some, there are some very, very good models for the workforce development. And again, you need to think, this is an opportunity for regional partnership. It's not just up to Dawson County, because workforce is not just coming from here. And so, workforce.
Well, I think we're blessed and cursed with having an alcohol here, because all our kids can go into the alcohol and get paid $9 an hour to take clothes. Well, if they want to come work for us, then it's hard work. I mean, what you do, Kathy, is hard work. What we do is really hard work.
But
To
it's
get
fun.
these kids to work for us.
What do you do? I'm sorry. What's it? TikTok. Oh, yeah. 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 They've got lots of opportunities. So.
Nothing wrong with some.
Nothing wrong with
You want to work out. That's a partial societal problem, but there are some workforce in Dawson, sort of pieces by bringing everybody to the table, by bringing K-12 to the table, by bringing the technical colleges to the table, by bringing industry to the table and having a little round table and talking about it and looking at some other options are really good. That's where you can actually become a leader and people are pointing to you as look what they did in Dawson County. These are the problems, this is innovation. Nothing wrong with trying some innovation for a while and seeing if it works. If it doesn't work, all right, at least we tried it.
That might be another opportunity for the county to work with the K-12, because Luncheon County I live in Luncheon County, but our office is in Dawson County. They just recently had a work day at the schools.
Yeah.
They bring in all these trades because kids have been preached, go to college, go to college, go to college. And so we don't have any skilled workers that can do. And my nephew, he graduated 2 years ago, and he thought, oh, he graduate a master's degree, and he played college football. He thought he was going to get out and make $100,000 a year. Well, guess what? He was like, what in the world? So I think that would be a great opportunity for the county to partner with the schools to maybe prepare outcoming seniors and juniors, start them young and see, show them there is a way. If they don't want to go to college, there is a way that they can make good money, in the community.
You don't know what you can't see, right?
One of the things that is starting to get some traction in the county that I think we should continue to develop along the same line is some type of the business community embracing the internship programs that might be available, and to partner with Damien or Dr. Gibbs's group and Goodwill and people like that we can do non-paid internships, but give them that visibility of some options other than just going to University of Georgia, which is wonderful, or Georgia Tech, which is not so
That is a great, and that is a wonderful model, the internship and the apprenticeship model. The other thing is getting, again, somebody calls you and says, will you come to the school? Please say yes. Doesn't matter what your industry is. Some of it's just teaching good work ethic. Some of it's a mentorship program that we're trying to get folks to understand what a good worker looks like and what it takes that you don't come out and make $100,000. You come out and make 40 to get your way up to $100,000 by being diligent and by, that's my lecture with my students, by the way. But they make a lot more money than that. So, I think the other day, this is an engineer startup, and I almost fell. I'm going back to school. But I think those programs are really key. The participation of the business community is huge. The other thing I like to do, I like for folks to go into schools. I also like for schools to take field trips to businesses. My favorite show is How Things Are Made. I love that show. I don't know if you've ever watched that. But taking the kids behind the scenes so they can see what it is. They don't know if they've never seen it, what the opportunities are. And so, for industry that's here, that's really important. Okay, any other concern? Yes.
I just need, I also live in Longhead, I'm from Knoxville, but live in Longhead, work in Knoxville. When it comes to local owned restaurants, so I love Longhead. My sister comes from Atlanta and she's like, there's already eat here that's just local. And I love Chick-fil-A, so I always get Chick-fil-A. But
On Sunday.
Yes, on Sunday. Have your girlfriends and just a place to lounge, maybe be on your laptop. My Easter, that happens a lot. We just want to go somewhere and catch up on work on our laptop. There's not a place, there's Canary Road, but I would love to have some more local options.
You can't afford to do it here.
Yeah.
I've been there, done that, bought the t-shirt. The rents are incredibly high. The requirements are for corporate money, as far as health department and environmental issues. It's really, really hard to have a restaurant here. It's really expensive.
I asked the same question a couple weeks ago. I said, yeah, where can I eat? And I have no friends that
No hole in the wall.
chains. I think it's great, but sometimes you just want to support it locally. I want to be thoughtful about your time, and because I've given you these things, sometimes I do like interactive, it's way too big for me to make a massive interactive thing. I'm going to ask you to please allow, I have like 3 minutes left, so try to be sensitive to everybody's time, to jot it down, to put this together. I want to talk to you about sort of the next step. So we had this little interaction. It's good. This is vacancy rates for commercial. Hasn't come up on the radar, so thank you for that, right? Again, it's reiterating the want local, reiterating the housing, the opportunities for workforce training. Those are all pieces that are really important. And then you've all just said that you're going to participate in anything that we do. Is that what I heard? Right? Okay, good. So, if you can take, again, just a couple minutes to stay in your head, close your eyes, think of a couple of words to drop down. When you're describing Dawson County to somebody as a place of business, as a place, this is a development plan, and I do care about quality of life, but I'm thinking this is really, obviously our metrics are going to be a place where you can find a good paying job, where you can settle with your family, what does it look like in your head? You know, what is Dawson County supposed to be if you're describing it to somebody else? What's your vision? How do you describe it? You can take a few minutes before you leave and just give me a couple of words. I would absolutely appreciate it. If someone wants to shout out a word just to get things all rolling, that'd be great. Ready? Self-sustaining.
I don't really want to go out and do anything else. I want my community to be like that as well. When I get into Dawson County, I'm here, the frustrating if I have to drive to South Carolina or talking to kids. And we're close. We got a lot of community that come in. And I'm excited. When I moved here in '84, we had to drive to Jasper or something to get groceries.
Yep.
About having to go and all this and stuff. And then they got me coming for a movie. Got a movie theater. So it keeps coming. But man, I'm really glad today when I say, I'm in my zone. I don't have to go to Forsyth home and do everything right. And I think part of that is having a place to go sit down.
So it's a great term, self-sustaining. Yes.
Just a blend of opportunity or region of opportunity where you have opportunities to be robustly healthy with your community, with your business, be out opportunities outdoors, great opportunity for work-life balance, all of that to me would be beneficial to have in this community.
Your overall, the health of the community, it's not just physical health, financial well-being. So one of the other thing I'd like for you to think about is the reason that you are, I mentioned it before, you are all a resource in this room. There may be things that we don't know that you do or have access to, whether it's in your personal or professional life, that could help as we start to put this development together. Maybe you're, we talked about Rotary, maybe your church does something, maybe you're involved in a nonprofit, maybe your company does something that could help facilitate. So I really would ask you all to take a moment and think about how you as an individual or as a business leader, what can you do to help promote this? Because again, I'm going to be calling on all of you, we're going to give you a list. You're mom now, so sure. I think I mentioned this, we may already have things that we don't even know about, and that's going to be just so you know our next steps, what happens after here. So this is a process where we're going around and having lots of conversations, we'll be having conversations with the community at large as well. So we've got this research, what have you done already, what have you got, the data, the visioning, stakeholder engagement. We move into our analysis portion where we play with all the data and figure out where things have to go. We'll do some policy and programming work. We'll be bringing a draft plan back in June or July, and then we'll be taking the feedback again from that. There'll be ongoing efforts to keep you engaged, and then we'll be looking at the final plan. So hopefully we'll get this plan in place by August, so that everybody can get started. All right. So I think that's it. How are you doing time? Perfect. All right. Thank you so much.
As y'all can see, we've got a lot of work ahead of us. This is not something, like she said, that's cookie cutter that applies to everyone. There's a lot of work. We want all perspectives and ideas at the table. So please do turn those in to us or to Lynn before you leave, or you're welcome to email them to any of us, drop them by the chamber, we'll take them. A couple things I did want to mention just from some of the feedback today that I heard is that our committees at the chamber are actually open. So anyone in this room is welcome to be on any of our committees, but one that's particularly, I think, great for the conversation we had today is our workforce development committee. So we absolutely hear that there needs to be, people need to be more prepared when they leave high school. We absolutely understand that, and we have taken a lot of steps, particularly over the last 2 years, to work more diligently in that direction. I know many of you in this room participated last week or the week before in the CTAE interviews, which we had a lot of great feedback about. We're also creating a program for our graduates who are not going to college, not going to technical school, not going into the military, who are just graduating and planning to enter the workforce. We have a new program for them that will be completely free to the students. It's for 2 weeks right after graduation, and they will get OSHA 10-hour training in financial planning, and they'll be guaranteed a job interview. So we hear this need, but if you are interested in being involved, all our committees meet once a month. It's not a huge time commitment, but we want to hear, just as Lynn said, there are resources that are available that we don't even know about, and we don't know until we get to hear your perspective. And also on the internship thing, I did just want to say thank you to all the businesses in the room that already host interns. Our high school actually has one of the highest level of internship participation in the entire state. So many of our students actually do internships, and I know from a business perspective, sometimes that adds work to your plate, and we really appreciate that you all continue to host those. If you've never hosted an intern and you're interested in that, please let me, Betsy, and Melissa, any of us know, and we'll get you connected with the right people to do that. And I think if you're interested in a college intern, I see Bobby in the back, she can connect you with the right people, and then Troy's here as well, so they can connect you with who you need to talk to about hosting interns. But with that, again, our committees are open. We talked about our board meeting this morning, so we are very interested in having any of y'all join those and talk to any of us about what that looks like. Also, I forgot to mention this earlier, census is coming up. You'll hear more about it on our next luncheon. We'll just mention it briefly in our next luncheon, but it starts April 1st. Please fill out the form, because that's where all the local money for both our city, our county, our schools is all based on population, or so much of it is based on population, and when people don't fill out the form, we lose out big time. So just keep that in mind. If you have any questions about that, you can reach out to any of us here. And with that, we hope to see everyone at Business After Hours next week and then at the gala, and we'll see you soon.